So, Everett, where should we start? Should we start in Italy? A lot went
Yeah, I
down in
think we
Italy.
should start with Italy women's,
Sweet.
because it was a pretty spicy weekend this weekend in Italy, and we're going to direct your gaze down to the bottom two matches there. And no, you are not seeing a typo. That is a second loss for Imico Conigliano, falling 3-1 to Monza. And with that loss, it also allowed Savini Del Bene Scandici with their 3-0 win to step into first place. So a lot of change this weekend in Super Lega Volley Femminile. But let's start with that first one, the big one, Conigliano falling to Monza 3-1. Agona was big in that one. She had 23 points. She showed up, but just no one else can put points on the board for that Conigliano team. No one else getting into the double digits.
Yeah, so I commentated this game. I had a big weekend of commentary. I had two awesome matches Saturday.
Getting the big primetime matches now. No more Ravenna. Let's go.
About time. Yeah, this one was great. Dana Retke made her Lega Volley Femminile debut, which was incredible for any American fans out there.
That was her debut?
She played against Valkyrbank last week in Champions League. It was her Italian debut, and she was phenomenal. We'll get to that in a second.
Damn.
But
okay.
Yeah, Paola Egonu was like, just looking at the stats, 28 points. The next highest on the team was Raffaella Foley with 7. That's it.
A tough spot. Yeah,
that's it. That's the end of the discussion about Conigliano right there. You cannot win games against a team of Monza's caliber, even if you have the best player in the world. If Miriam Silla puts up 5 points on negative efficiency, Vushkova in the middle, 6 for 13. You should be able to score better than that in the middle. Foley 7, okay, sure, but 0% efficiency. Plummer really bad. Like they brought Courtney in off the bench. She scored 0 points with 2 errors. Like you've got to have something else there somewhere if you're Conigliano, especially as Monza continues to get better.
Well, to be honest, I'm going to bring this back to our conversation last week of the top 10, where you put Joanna Voloj in there. And I mean, this is where I'm going to have to, it's like, where does this fall? Because it's not like they don't have other players around Paola Egonu. This isn't the like LeBron in the Cavs in back in the 2010s when he first started his league. Like Silla, Plummer. Like Plummer is supposed to be like one of the next superstars for the USA. She's out there putting like 6 points up on the board, and her efficiency is like under 10%. So something really needs to change for Conigliano. And I mean, I'm guessing it might, considering that it's rumored that Isabella Hawk has officially signed for Conigliano for next year. So furthering more that Egonu is going to be making that jump to Turkey. But right now, she needs some support, because it's no longer a guarantee for me that they're going to win this championship like it was maybe a month or so ago.
That's a great point. It is no longer a guarantee, not even close to a guarantee they're going to win the league anymore. But Conigliano passed the ball like garbage in this game. That was a serious factor. They were chucking a lot of balls up to Egonu out of necessity. They really couldn't run much because they just had an uncharacteristically bad day controlling the ball. Combine that with Monza, who is really good defensively. They had 9 blocks, and I thought dug the ball really well, which, of course, for some reason in volleyball we can't stat digs, but I thought they played really good defense. So they had the right game plan. They wanted to make Egonu be the sole point scorer, because everyone knows you can't really stop her. So I actually am okay with them of the strategy of stop literally everybody else and make her out talent you single-handedly compared to the rest of Monza, all of whom were really good. So moving on to Monza's stats, which were really outstanding. Magdalena Stesiak, almost 50% efficiency, 23 points, great performance. Alessia Gennari, not quite as good. They didn't need her. That was okay. Anna Danesi, excellent. Anna Daviskiba was really good. I was kind of surprised that she got the start over Katarina Lazovic, but she was good. And most importantly, Dana Retke, 10 for 15, only one error, 3 blocks, and 2 aces. Go ahead. That's insane. And let me tell you, I watched Monza play Valkyrbank on Thursday, and Retke got the start there. And as a blocker, she looked lost. She was getting played with laterally. She was not fast enough for the level of the game. And in one match, in half a week of practice, and against one of the best teams in all of Europe, she transformed her read blocking and game sense and lateral quickness. And really, it looked like night and day for her in the blocking phase. And to be able to make that adjustment that fast since coming overseas and since like just starting to see the court was incredibly impressive to me. And it should be no surprise to anyone that she's an elite attacker, especially as her chemistry with Alessia Oro, who's really good at setting middle, continues to develop. But she was awesome on the slide. She was like banging balls, sharp cross on the right side to 10 feet, no problem, which was amazing. 2 aces was great, but the blocking, the quick improvement in her middle blocking ability was really the thing that jumped off the page to me. I thought she was awesome. Such a good, like, positive sign for Monza in that pickup and for the U.S. women. Like, we talked about it when she came overseas. Dana Redke should absolutely be a foundation of the women's national team moving forward. That 3 middle blocker trio, Haley Washington, Dana Redke, and Chiako Bogu, yikes,
Nasty.
like, look out.
That's disgusting. But you're not wrong. And I mean, like, she did it all around too. Like, she went two aces with 2 errors, so that's not bad either. But that's 3 blocks, like, massive day. And I think it's really just cementing the fact that the NCAA is the best breeding ground for women's volleyball there is, right? Like, the fact that she's able to step off the court, like, just a few months ago, she was in Wisconsin and, you know, getting ready for a Final Four run. And now she's in Italy playing amongst the best and beating them. So, I mean, hats off to her. Can't wait to see what's next coming from Dana Redke.
Yeah, agreed. So before we move off of this match and on to the other big one, which was Scandici beating Busto Arsizio, there's a clip I want to show you guys because this was a bright spot for Egonu and Conegliano despite the loss, but this was absolutely nuts. Check this out.
But another free ball.
YouTube, please don't demonetize us.
Egonu again. What a ridiculous angle.
It's just silly.
With that? Oh my goodness. That's right on the sideline. Like a meter off the net. That's insane. No way. I can't believe that angle. And Stesiak just looking at it like, oh yeah, that was in. There's nothing you can do to stop that. That was incredible.
We have to watch it.
Yeah, just one more time.
We gotta watch it again. That was insane.
Egonu again. What a ridiculous angle. Are you serious with that?
Goodness gracious, that's
goodness.
absolutely
That's right
filthy.
On the sideline.
It's a shame that, you know, where's Titans Volleyball and Volleyball World and you know, all of our big media arms out there. Like, why aren't we talking about this? Why isn't this plastered on anything? If this was the NBA, it would have been on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok before the end of the quarter. But yeah.
Agreed, dude. I was so mad that, like, it seemed like Volleyball World literally took the entire weekend off of social media because they literally they posted nothing for Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday morning European time they started being active again. And in their post about Lega Volley Femminile highlights from the weekend, there was like a very pedestrian Stesiak kill from this match, and that was it. That might be the greatest cross court shot I've ever seen. Like,
that's better than Kliuka's last year.
It's almost better than Kliuka's.
I'm rating this one higher for sure. I'm rating this one higher for sure. Dude, I think that needs to be an Instagram poll.
I was commentating it in real life, and I barely even saw the ball because it was so ridiculous. Like, I didn't understand what I was looking at, so I was worried that I was going to be like clueless and that the commentary would do the clip justice. I think it ended up being pretty good, but that shot was like, you're right, absolutely should have lit the entire internet on fire. I don't understand why it didn't.
Yeah, like it should have been broken down like multiple times with multiple angles in slow-mo. Nope, nothing. Nope. Quick little, yeah. Anyways, yeah, let's move on to the next one. As we mentioned, Scandici pulling in to first place in the Lega Volley Femminile with a massive 3-0 win over Busto Arsizio. And Busto just not on their game. Probably one of the worst games we've seen all season from Alexa Gray, to be perfectly honest. And I mean, hey, she can't be dropping the 29 points on every occasion, right?
Yeah, I remember the stat line you brought up on last week's show where she was like 70% efficient and was unbelievable. This was not quite as good. Not like miserable. 13 for 34 with 6 errors is certainly not great. No. Mingardi, pretty good. 17 for 35 with only 2 errors. That's pretty good. But I think the credit goes to Scandici here. They were super balanced. They were unbelievable in the middle. Louisa Littman didn't even have to do that much. She only played 1 set.
No, I mean, the point I want to talk about is the young Katerina Antropova. Remember when we were talking about Fedoruseva a few weeks ago, and I said that she didn't even play for a national team? It's because I was mixing up with this girl who, for all intents and purposes, for the past few years, has grown up in Italy, but she's technically Russian, and so the two federations are fighting over her. But Ekaterina Antropova coming in 14 for 26 and 24 points
and 0 errors,
eight aces, 8 aces. And I mean, she kind of lit up Alexa Gray, which it doesn't feel the best for me. Alexa Gray got 5 errors on service, but still 8 aces for Ekaterina Antropova. Like, they didn't even need Littman, right? So that's
and Pietrini didn't play. She didn't even see the court. Like that. That's ridiculous. 8 aces to 2 errors plus like an errorless offensive performance and 2 blocks. Like there's a good reason why those two federations are fighting over Katerina Antropova's ability to play for their national teams. That's almost as ridiculous of a stat line as the Rok Mozic one, as we'll look at in a minute. But like 8 aces in 3 sets, like, get out of here.
Like, why isn't like she's 18 years old, like she's so young. Why isn't this blasted on every media? Okay, we're not going to get into it. You can tell like I have something boiling under my skin right now.
There's a theme. There's a theme going on.
There's a theme to today's show for sure.
Yeah, I mean, how old, I'm looking up how old she is. 2003. That's absurd. She's 18. She turns 19 in like a month. God, that's ridiculous. Yeah, the lack of coverage of this girl. Nobody knows who she is because she doesn't play for the national team. She's apparently not worthy of any coverage. But that is as great of a stat line as you will see in all of volleyball anywhere at any level this entire year. 14 for 26 with 8 aces. Get real.
And then once again, that was only done in like what, 2.5 sets, because she didn't start, right? She came off the bench in the first.
Right.
So I mean, hey, like, she's obviously like
believable.
She's obviously got something going. So, I mean, it makes sense that both of these countries are going after her, but it looks like, I bet she's going to end up to be Italian.
Yeah, it does look that way. So looking at the standings, after all that, it shakes out. You can see the top of the standings, Monza and Scandicci tied at 40 points, but Scandicci's played one more match than Monza has. Conegliano's still right there, 3 points behind, and they've played 2 less matches than Scandicci has. And then after that, Busto with 17 matches played and only 35 points. So those 3, and Novara,
you can't keep Novara out, especially with the roster that they have. They've only played
13 matches. They had more of a COVID break than anybody. They even had one canceled this past week. So they have a ton of catching up to do. And we'll talk about Novara in a minute because there's a lot of drama surrounding them in Champions League. But the top of the Lega Volley Femminile standings are nuts. And coming into the year, everybody was thinking, oh, this is clearly Conegliano's league to lose, because nobody foresaw their mortality, like to the degree that we've seen the last couple of weeks. But this is a dope league, man. And the bottom too, like I was talking about last week. Oh, I still totally agree with that. But like I was talking about last week, the bottom 6 as well, like that's moving all over the place. Like you've got like ninth place with 15 points, 13th and 14th with 10, like 5 points separating 6 teams to try and not get relegated in 2 spots. Like, this league's super dope. The drama is totally there, and if you're not watching, you're definitely missing out.
Yeah, definitely check it out over on Volleyball World TV, because like you said, it's so much fun that last year, like, we all knew Conegliano was going to take it. They were just in that mode of a team of destiny, right? Winning Champions League and winning the Scudetto. But then this year, I mean, it seems to me like I bet you this is very much going to be like after the Bulls went on that crazy, season. The next year they kind of like let off loose. Same thing with the Golden State Warriors. Like, once you go on a run like that, you don't want to go on it again, right? Like, you don't want that pressure of having to be the best team ever, right? Like, you don't want that pressure of having to win like the most games ever again. So I can see you kind of taking a game here off here and there, right? So I think that's kind of what we're seeing with Conegliano, and I'd still expected to see them at the top of the league at the end of the year. But this just makes playoffs, because whoever they're going to be playing in the semifinals onward is going to be awesome.
Unbelievable. Yeah, and you do not want to finish in 4th, 5th, or 4th.
That 4-5 game is going to be
enormous.
That 4-5 series is going to be massive, and then they're going to have to go play probably Conegliano in the next round. Like,
yeah. So a lot to look forward to there.